Good morning, everyone. It's going to be hot and humid and no breeze today. Sure, bring it on. Ooh, I hate summer. I've always hated summer. I've always been a spring and fall kind of person, and I deal with winter fairly well. Um, but man, I really hate hot and humid. I really, really hate it. And there's a few other things I hate, but right now that's all I'm going to focus on. So I did get 40 pounds of dried pinto beans yesterday, all in all. I calculated that would have been $18.33 for 40 pounds of dried pinto beans. I think that's a pretty good price. So I think it ended up being 47 cents a pound, close to my buy price. Anyway, my buy price is 49 to 50 cents a pound. So I'm below that by 2 cents. Okay, I'll take it. So anyway, that's probably I would probably divide that into two buckets and add rice on top of that. So we need two more buckets. I need more buckets. I need to move some buckets out of the kitchen now. Now that I got everything in the buckets, now I need to move the buckets out of the kitchen because it's getting a little scary in there. A little tight. And when I say tight, I have two Great Danes that have to be right there with me at all times. When I start cooking, Onyx will go back to the living room, but Raven stays right with me. And so when I have everything congested in the kitchen, it gets really crazy. So yeah, I need to get some buckets out, fill some more buckets. We've got a lot of buckets. So we're stocking it as best we can. We're being prepared as best we can. I'm getting basic preps at this point in time: beans, rice, just the basics right now, because those are the things that are going to feed this very small group right here. Very small group, family of four, family of one, family of two. It's 8 people, right? Four, five, six, seven people. Seven. All right. What do I want to talk about today? Well, I'm still really upset over misinformation and lies and trying to start propaganda in people's heads about things that are not true. Now, I still want to go back to this Olympic boxing situation. Yesterday, or was it? Yeah, yesterday morning, I didn't really want to go into detail about what it was, but I wanted I wanted to let you know that there are women out here in the world who are tougher than the average woman. That that's just true. We're built different, we think different, we may have more testosterone than most. And I think that's what it is. As my estrogen just like kind of fizzled out to zero, my testosterone was already probably at a high level. I can't help that. That doesn't mean I'm a transgender. It doesn't mean I'm bisexual or homosexual. I have had a child. I have given birth to a child. It wasn't the best pregnancy in the world, but I gave birth. The reason it was bad was because I had toxemia so bad. But a higher testosterone level doesn't mean you're a sexual deviant, or I don't think there's an understanding of definitions. I have a weird bird, and I'm trying to think if it's one of my birds or not. Anyway, higher testosterone How do you want to control that? The reason that they were disqualified, her and one of the Taiwan boxers, was because the testosterone level was higher. There is a chromosomal malfunction, disorder. It has nothing to do with the person themselves. It has to do with the level of hormones. It has to do with when these hormones are going through your body and your strength and your abilities, and maybe you're a little more aggressive. You have a little more. It doesn't mean that you're a transsexual, and a transsexual is a surgical procedure. So trans people have to take, okay, if it's a man going into a woman, she's going to take more estrogen. If it's a woman being a man, she will take more testosterone. But do you not understand that the levels of those hormones isn't about a sexual preference? It's not about being something that you're not. It's a medical chromosomal abnormality. I don't like saying disorder because if I am one of those people, I've never had my blood tested, but I am very aggressive at times. I do show a stronger, and I am stronger than most women. And I have facial hair, and I have hair popping up everywhere now. Now that I have probably zero estrogen going into this, I've got hair growing everywhere. Not out of my ears yet. That's something we keep an eye on. But do you understand that this had nothing to do with a sexual choice? It had nothing to do with a medical procedure. It had nothing to do with taking extra hormones. It's a chromosomal disorder. God, I hate using that word. Let me explain to you why I hate using disorder in any shape, whether it be a mental disorder or a physical disorder or an emotional disorder, you know, because as a social service director of a nursing home, people would go and get their anxiety pills. So they would have anxiety as a diagnosis. They would go and say, well, I'm depressed. So they would have depression as a diagnosis. They might have, let's see here, disassociation disorder put on their thing. So as I evaluate when I'm getting ready to bring a resident in, there are triggers when it comes to disorders. All of these disorders add up, and it's called a level 2, which means number 1, you're going to be on a list to be watched for all of kinds of mental disorders and all kinds of issues. You're going to be on different medications that require a lot more intricate work with the social service director, the doctor, and the nurses and the care plans. So I try not to say that because I absolutely hate it. I tell people every day, do not get a diagnosis of anxiety. Do not get a diagnosis of depression. Do not let that be in your chart at all. Just say you're having a bad time. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't want those diagnoses in my medical records because they all add up. And when they all add up, then you become a level 2. I'm just saying. I'm so disappointed with people with the misinformation, though. I think that is absolutely disgraceful. I believe that your agenda is not in good faith. I don't believe that. So when you spew that this was a man, it's 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 a man, she is not a man. She wasn't born a man. She didn't get turned into a man. She's not magically a man. She is a woman who has a higher level of testosterone. And I believe that I am one of those people. I've never had it tested, but I can tell you that I'm not the average woman. And I'm not trying to be a superhero, but what I'm telling you is it's not only my mentality of forward move, but it's also the facial hair, the hair growing everywhere. And of course, as you get older, you lose estrogen and you do grow hair. But I'm talking. This has been going on for quite a while in my life. Not just when estrogen. I'm watching the neighbor dog just flying around. Chicken killer. So anyway, please stop spreading misinformation. Please do your research and please quit being cruel to people who are not what you're accusing them of, and quit leading people down the wrong road when it comes to misinformation. I think you should do a retraction if you are any of one of those influencers who made the comment about the Olympic boxer being a man. I think you need to do a retraction. I think you need to fess up to being a liar. You'll have a great day. Hugs from a distance.